have y'all been? I've missed y'all so much. What's up? Hey, boo.
It's Lisa, it's Lisa, it's Lisa, Danielle. Something like that.
What's up, world? It's your girl, Lisa D, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget, subscribe to this channel, like this video, and click that notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video or whatever. So today, I'm back with another DIY for us curvy girl. And yes, it is K-pop inspired. If you're not on the K-pop train, what is you really doing? What is you really doing? So I saw these shorts on Rosé of Blackpink. Blackpink is so lit, y'all. Blackpink in your area. Anyway, I saw these shorts on her and I was like, oh, I need these. So I Google searched, of course, y'all, Ruffle Denim shorts. So I saw them on Shop Akira and I was like, oh, I'm gonna get these, but then they were out of stock. And honestly, even if they weren't out of stock, like, I don't know if they were gonna fit these thighs. Do y'all see these thighs? You see this coat?
Do you see this cup?
So this DIY is definitely curvy girl friendly. It's honestly every girl friendly because as long as you get shorts that fit you, it's gonna work out. It's for everybody. So I went to Target, I got a pair of shorts that fit me, that have some stretch, and then I went and got some material from Hobby Lobby, and this is what we came up with. So if you wanna see how I made Ruffle Denim shorts, then stay tuned. So I'm starting with these shorts that I got from Target. You can also use jeans because we're gonna cut them off anyway. I also picked up some cotton fabric from Hobby Lobby. I'm going with more of a blue color scheme, but you can do any colors or fabric you want. So the first thing that you wanna do is make your shorts even shorter because we're gonna add ruffles. So that's gonna bring your length back in. I'm just gonna flatten this out and make sure it's completely lying flat. And then I'm gonna take my ruler because I don't wanna make any mistakes and I wanna actually mark off a line of where I want to cut off this fabric. You want to make sure that you are cutting at an angle. So you want to make this line at an angle higher at the hip and lower at the inseam so that they kind of look like bikini briefs, I guess. Anyway, you cut that piece off and then we're going to take that piece and use it to cut the other side symmetrical. So instead of doing a whole like measuring thing again, don't do that. Just lay it down and use it as a guide. So after you cut that other side off, just take the inseam of both legs and place them together so you can make sure it's symmetrical. I'm taking a piece of denim fabric to use as my base for the ruffles. So I'm gonna take those leg pieces that I cut off and use them as a guide so that I know how long each piece needs to be for each leg. You can use any fabric you want as your base fabric. It's at your own discretion based on the fabric you choose for your ruffles. So if you have a heavier fabric for your ruffles, you're gonna wanna use a heavier base fabric. So now I'm gonna cut my strips for my ruffles. My fabric is about 13 inches wide. So I'm gonna cut each strip 4 inches because I'm gonna have 3 strips that I'm gonna sew together to make one long strip, and then I'll divide that amongst the 2 legs. And I'm gonna do this for each fabric choice that I have. So once I'm done, this is what it'll look like. And because I chose cotton fabric, I'm gonna serge the edges. You don't have to do this. I just don't want mine to fray. So I'm just gonna take it to my serger and I'm gonna serge the edges all the way around. Just gives it a nice clean finish, but again, you don't have to do this. It just depends on the fabric you chose. So I now have 6 different ruffles and I'm going to attach it to my denim base. I marked off 6 lines of where I wanted each ruffle to be placed. However, I learned very quickly from doing the first leg that you're gonna have to stack the first 3 ruffles on top of each other. So you'll see in a second that it's not 6 lines I need, it's actually 3. But the way that I am attaching my ruffles to the base is using like a pleated method. So I'm just eyeballing it and I'm folding over to create the pleat and pinning it in place. You can use the gathering method. I didn't really like that method that much for this because it kind of makes the ruffles a little more bulky. So I find with the pleating method, it makes the ruffles lay a little more flat. That's all pinned down. Take it to your sewing machine and sew it down with the straight stitch. Now with the second ruffle, I'm laying it directly on top of the first, and I'm just gonna use the first ruffle as a guide for my pleating. Again, just fold over, pin, and then sew it down. Move on to the next ruffle, fold over, pin, and you're gonna sew that down as well. So once I have those first 3 ruffles sewn down on top of each other, I'm going to take the 4th ruffle and move up to that next line. Each line is probably about an inch apart. Probably not even that much. I would say 3/4 of an inch apart. And you're going to use those first 3 ruffles as a guide and do your pleating. And you're going to do this for each of the ruffles until you have all 6 sewn down, and it looks so pretty. So because I actually overestimated the width of the denim fabric, I'm going to just cut off that excess at the top. I did also go back in and trim down each ruffle because I thought they were a little too long, which means I had to go back later and reserge them, but you'll see that at the end. You're going to fold this over, and we're actually going to cut down at an angle so that it's not so bulky at the inseam. These are all things that I realized needed to be done after I did the first leg as like a trial and error. So I'm just going to cut down at an angle so that there's not so much ruffle bulk in between your legs. If you have thick thighs like me, you definitely want to do this step. And with right sides together, I'm just going to sew that down so we have our wonderful little ruffle leg. This is what it will look like. Then I'm going to flip it inside out, and with right sides together, we're going to sew the top of our ruffle panel to the bottom of our shorts leg. I think it's easier if you start by lining up the inseam with our side seam of our ruffle panel. It just looks better if your seams are lined up. So I'm just gonna put those 2 pieces together and then pin it in place. Then I'm going to stretch it across so I can make sure that everything is lined up and symmetrical and that our panel fits all the way around our shorts leg. And once you have that all pinned in place, you're just gonna sew it down either with a straight stitch. I think I serged this. It really doesn't matter. But then you're all done. You have these cute lit shorts, y'all. I love these so much.